Namaste and good morning, everyone. Let's do our prayers before we start our Saturday class. Om Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Guru Devo, Maheshwara, Guru Sakshat Parbrahma, Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Om Bhuvaswa, Tatsavitra Varenyam, Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi, Dhiyo Yo Naha Prachodayat. अस्तो मा सद्गमय तमसो मा ज्योतिर्गमय मृत्योर्मा अमृतं गमय ओम सहनावतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सवीर्यं कर्वावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ओम शांति शांति शांति. Let's open our Yog Darshan books. We are on chapter 3, Vibhuti Pada, and verse number 28. That's where we ended our last time when we were together studying this sutras. Chandre taravyoohajnanam. So this is about the knowledge of the stars. Chandre, moon, tara, stars, vyuh, arrangements. Jnanam is the knowledge. By performing Samyama on the moon, because he's talking about Samyama, and we all know this Samyama, the technical term, dharana, dhyan, and samadhi, on one particular object, it becomes a Samyama. So by performing Samyama on the moon, knowledge about the position of the stars is gained. So I was telling you whether it's outer stars or the inner stars. And that's where I was telling you that inside us, there are marmsthans, which are the stars. And we got to know those too, in order to keep this body in a good working condition. And view means arrangement. So the outer stars, they have a particular arrangement, and the inner stars, they have the particular arrangement too. So the practice of Samyama on the moon matures into samapati actually. So that's like a mental absorption in the moon. And during this state of absorption, the mind becomes saturated with the inherent qualities and attributes of what we are focusing upon. Yogi is able to mentally travel to every nook and cranny of the body, whether it's an outer body or inner body. So mind can travel anywhere. And in the process, yogi passes through the entire network. And during this journey, a yogi can stop and practice Samyama on any star, become familiar with its unique qualities, attributes, and then move on to another one and do the same thing over there too. So this is what Rishi Patanjali is talking about in this verse. So let's move on to the next verse, verse number 29. Dhruve tat gati jnanam. Gati means the movement. So this is the knowledge of their movement also, not just the positioning, the movement. Dhruve. Dhruve means by performing Samyama on the pole star. Tat means that, gati, movement, jnanam, knowledge. So by performing Samyama on the pole star, dhruvatara, knowledge of the movement of the stars can be obtained. So movement of anything we can understand when we have some kind of a substratum, something which is fixed, something which doesn't move. So this pole star or dhruvatara does not move. So if you want to know the absolute and relative movement, you have to do the Samyama on this dhruvatara. These ancient rishis, they knew a lot about things very accurately. Whether it was the inside of our body or whether it was the outside of the stars and the heavenly bodies. So they must have done a lot of Samyama. Lot of practice on the sun, moon, and the pole stars. And dhruve word we are all familiar with, that young prince, very young. I think he was 5 or 6 years of the age, went into extreme, intense meditation. And this meditation led him to conquer hunger and thirst. Finally, his breath reached a state of absolute stillness. And he found himself totally immersed in the all-pervading consciousness. He began to descend from the immersive state and he became cognizant of the entire universe. He knew the minute atoms to the intricate network of the total constellations and galaxies. So he was in that samadhi. He saw his own body, mind, senses pervaded and permeated by this light. Physical, mental, sensory, spiritual activities all became so clear to him. So in the light of this story about dhruve, this term dhruve came to represent the epitome of determination, stability, and perfection. So dhruve is a symbol of reality characterized by the principle of constancy. It is a state of unmoving consciousness. But it is the center of all that moves though. So that means everything around this moves, but this does not move. So in this context, this yoga sadhana is explained in this verse. Look at something which does not move inside you, but everything else is moving around it. It is located right inside us also. That dhruv tara is outside, but there is something inside us also. So during our meditation, deep meditations, we should get in touch with that. So this immersive state arising from Samyama on dhruva empowers the mind to comprehend the dynamic activity of the entire network of the constellation. This is what Rishi Patanjali is telling us. But mind must become still. Mind must be pure. You will see that in your meditations, this kind of a meditation, you can travel along the pathways of the nadis. Mind can reach and pierce through the chakras, marm sathans. You can even enter into the clusters of your tissues, cells, where pran shakti is moving. We can see that where the sluggishness is coming from, or where the hyperactivity is inside our own body. And how to gain this capacity further? Rishi Patanjali is giving us another sutra, beautiful sutra, where he says, nabhichakre kayavyoohajnanam. This body where we are residing right now, we should be familiar with it. We should know what's happening in this body. Nabhi, navel, chakre, center, kaya, body, view, arrangement, jnanam, knowledge. So knowledge of the body. By performing Samyam on the navel center, And navel center is called Manipur Chakra. Knowledge of the arrangement in the body is gained. Okay, so it could be the Manipur Chakra, it could be the Nabhi center itself. This navel center is the most mysterious and least understood pranic center. This is also called a Rudra Granthi, not of Rudra, the vibrant life force. Actually, it refers to the entire abdominal region and the unique energy and consciousness that regulate the functions of all the visceral organs in this region. So it's not only the Manipur chakra, but the entire system around it also. We all know that this is the center of the 4 primitive urges. And what are those primitive urges? Hunger, sleep, sex, and self-preservation. Okay? Through the vagus nerve, it is directly connected to the part of the brain that controls and regulates the functions of our autonomic nervous system. According to the yogis, the abdominal region is the work site of the part of the brain that deals with our unconscious behaviors and deep-rooted habits and urges. Even these days, people say that keep your gut clean. Make sure your digestive system is working good. So this navel center, the Nabhi chakra, it refers to the core of the network of the Shaktis that fill this space. So it's not just a point, it's the entire area. So according to Rishi Patanjali, the Samyama on this center results in the knowledge of the body's complex systems and their functions. It's a beautiful system God has given it to us. We should know this. We should know what kind of asanas to do to keep this system in a good working condition. Whether it's a Matsyendrasana, Chakrasana, or whether the simple movements of Nabhichalan, Nadi Sanchalan, or Agnisar. If we keep this system working, only then we can do the Samyam on the navel center. Otherwise, we are constantly worried about the health of this body. We really cannot do the Samyam at all. So keeping this whole equipment healthy is our duty. Agnisar, pranayams. Bhasrika helps too. Anulom, Vilom, Pratilom, Surya Bhed Kumbhak Pranayam. Or if you want to do the deeper pranayams, you can do those too. Prashadharan, Vidharan, pranayams. Because pranayams saturate the Agni in there. That Agni, the fire, which is called Jatragni. And this system of ours works better. We get the benefit in our skin, blood, muscles, nervous system, bones, marrow, the entire body gets a benefit. So it's the yogi not only stays away from the troubles of the sick body, yogi knows how to detach from this body also while living in this body. And that's how you practice Samyam on the navel center. Navel center is the abode of the healing power of Rudra. They call it a Rudrani in the scriptures. Then the next three verses, they kind of go together. Verse number 31. Kanthakoope kshutpipasanivrittih. Kanthakoope, that is a throat pit. So by performing Samyam on the throat pit, Kushut means hunger. Pipasa means thirst. Nivritti means retirement. So by performing Samyam on the throat pit, hunger and thirst retire. So that means cessation of hunger and thirst. So throat pit is the center of the gland that secretes the fluid which causes dryness in the throat, resulting in thirst, and burning in the stomach, which causes hunger. So by performing Samyam on that particular center of the gland, the secretion can be checked. And a yoga abhyasi can obtain mastery over thirst and hunger. So it's almost like you can see the well of the throat if you want to be relieved from the hunger and thirst. In the next sutra, koormanadyan sthairyam. Koormanadyan, by performing Samyam on the koormanadi. Sthairyam, steadiness. So steadiness is achieved by Samyam on the koormanadi. And steadiness here means both in the ordinary capacity and also in a miraculous capacity too. That means a student becomes so immovable that you cannot move him even if you try with a great force. So steadiness of the body during the state of meditation. But it may also mean the perfect mental stability. So both can be accomplished by Samyam on the koormanadi. And koormanadi, where is it then? It is situated just below the throat pit, just below. It has a shape resembling a tortoise. That's why it's called a koormanadi. The easiest method to practice Samyam on koormanadi is to meditate on the point where the chin touches the chest. This is like when go like this during the Jalandhar Bandha. So you're not bending your head, but you're bringing your chin down. Or it can be practiced during Sarvangasana too. Because in these two positions, the chin touches the chest near the koormanadi. So it becomes easy to locate this nadi for practicing the Samyam. Stillness. You will see that if you can do complete Sarvangasana, and if you try doing this, you can stay upside down without moving for a long time. Perfectly still inverted position. Try it. If you don't have any blood pressure issues or a back issues, try it next time when we do Savangasana. And the third verse in this group is Murdha Jyotishi Siddh Darshanam. Murdha. Murdha means crown of the head. Jyotishi, that is on the light. Siddh. Siddh means perfect, adapt. Darshanam, spiritual vision. By performing Samyama on the light of the crown of the head. And what is that? Sahasrara chakra. A spiritual vision of the master of yoga is gained. And who is the master of yoga? Your guru. So Murdh here means Sahasrara. Light is connected with Agya chakra also, actually. See, Agya chakra is situated at the center of the eyebrows, but this light is connected with that. Like a guru is always connected with God. Actually, guru is no different than God. Guru is just in a physical form. God we cannot see, but guru we can see. So Samyama and Agya chakra can bring about the result much more quickly. When this light flashes before the mind, it gives rise to this kind of a vision, where a student has direct perception of the various masters of yoga. The masters are able to live even without a body. See, we are living in a body, but these siddhs, they can live without a physical body, because they have a full control over their voluntary and involuntary mental psychic functions. So they can very easily disconnect from their body. So they can live without a physical body. That's why they are called as siddhs. We cannot see them because we are used to looking at the physical body. But when we do the Samyama on the Agya chakra or Sahasrara chakra, we can communicate with these yogis, these siddhs. And why do we want to see them? Because we want to obtain guidance and inspiration from them. This is not just to brag about that we have seen them. For our own journey, we need guidance, we need inspiration. So these three sutras, kanthakoope, koormanadyan, murdha jyotis, they really explain the dynamics of the navel center, because it starts from the previous one, the navel center one. Okay, where he talked about nabhichakre. Okay, start with the nabhichakre, then move into these areas. You'll be able to unravel the subtle anatomy of your body by meditating on it. So kanthakoope, the well of the throat, the koormanadyan, and the murdha jyotish, the light of the crown. Just in one sitting, if you want to do it, that's fine too. But if you want to just practice for some time, just only on one, do the Samyama on it and see the effect of it. But remember, none of these parts is physical though. Physical location is merely a tool for pinpointing that area. because that little area of our body is chronically charged space of consciousness in that physical region. Remember that. So when you do the Samyam, just remember, it's not on a physical body you are doing the Samyam. So the area, just look at the light over there, focus completely, concentration, meditation, and ultimately super absorption into the light over there in that particular region. You will see that if you're hungry or thirsty, you do this kanthakoope, Samyam, you will feel that there's an amazing power which is nourishing you. Because when we eat or drink something, what are we looking for? We are looking for nourishment. But you feel fully nourished. And that's where the Vishuddha chakra is too, the center of purity. Right here, that's why it's called Vishuddha. Shuddha means pure, Vishuddha. Beyond simple purity, complete purity. So the region of the well of the throat is the first recipient of the nectar flowing from the moon. See, moon is considered up there. From there, all those secretions are coming. And if we pay attention to that area, we are getting that nourishment firsthand. Instead of all those secretions going into the stomach and just getting burned with the acidity inside the stomach. So through your mind, you are absorbing all the nourishment. So nectar flows from the moon because it is the container of the nectar flowing from the transcendental moon. And it is the secondary domain of the moon. So first over here, the moon, then secretions come and you are absorbing it. So the greater and more intense the mental absorption in this center, the longer the yogi is able to sustain his or her body without food or water. Because sometimes we wonder how those rishis, yogis, sitting in the Himalayas, keeping the body perfectly healthy without eating or drinking anything for years after years. This is the secret. So practicing Samyam on the Kurma leads to stability. So the first one he said, kanthakoope, you feel nourished. Then practice Samyam on the Kurma leads to stability. So it's like coming from the top to this area, then a little lower area. Because Kurma lies below the well of the throat and above the heart actually. So according to Kundalini texts, the Kurma runs between this region and the perineum actually. But concentration on the lower region of this nadi results in the physical stability, but concentration on the higher one results in the mental and spiritual stability. So you can do it concentration at the lower level also, if your physical body is not staying still. Because we should know our own body, what is really happening. So these are the tools these yogis have given to us. Then Rishi Patanjali says, focus on the self-luminous space corresponding to the region of the crown. Sahasar chakra. That's where he says the Murdh Jyoti. Sahasar chakra is the spot in space where the domain of that Guru Shakti begins. You feel that light of the Guru. So the practice of Samyama on this luminosity is associated with the spectrum that lies between the transcendent and the eminent. This is the realm of the Siddh masters. And in terms of the yogic anatomy, this realm sits on the top of dhruve, which was mentioned in the previous verse, the pole star. So the realm of dhruve and the self-luminous space of the Sahasrara chakra is extremely subtle actually. And the distance between these two is not literal actually. Okay? You cannot say that the Dhruv Tara is beyond or closer. No. They could be at the same place. But we are trying to, with all these Samyams, we are trying to reach the self-luminous field of consciousness. That's what we are trying to do. Where we can stay with the full concentration for a little longer time. In some yogic scriptures, they say at least 48 minutes. Because in order for our concentration to reach the samadhi, it takes 30 minutes. Okay, so you want to stay in the samadhi, that means the full absorption, total absorption for a little longer to get the full benefit. So that's why they say minimum of 48 minutes. And once you have reached there, you are not even looking at the clock or the timer. You're totally absorbed. And all these unique practices of Samyam awakens our ability to see the Siddh masters. So the key to success in this practice lies in the yogi's perfection in sensing the presence of that light within. Don't get overwhelmed with all these different practices. Stick with one practice for a while and see what is really happening. Is it really working? So with a full faith, with sincerity, we should constantly, consistently do the practice. And what really happens from here? With all these practices, whether we do one practice or all of them, what really happens? Our intuition arises. That's what in the next verse he's telling us. Pratibhad va sarvam. Pratibhad, from pratibha. Va means or. Sarvam means everything. So everything by virtue of pratibha. Pratibha means intuition. So all the psychic powers mentioned in all these verses, they can be attained by one distinct faculty called pratibha. So the psychic powers can be either individually or collectively acquired. So in other words, full stability also, physical, mental, both. No feeling of thirst or hunger. Having visits from your guru also during your samadhi. Body is functioning fine. All of that collectively can be attained or individually can be attained. And we'll see that this pratibha word, it will be clearer to us in verse number 45 of this chapter. So kind of a superior intuition. It is a process of knowledge which is devoid of reasoning, because normally we understand something through our buddhi, because we want to reason, we want to discriminate, and that's how we understand. But pratibha is beyond reasoning. As the higher consciousness unfolds, a kind of a light is thrown on everything. This is called the knowledge through pratibha. Right. So this is a particular superior quality. You can also call it a first stage of vivek gyan. Knowledge gained through the separation of matter and energy. See, that's how we understand first. Then we reach to these higher levels. See, just like a sunlight makes everything manifest from darkness. See, if it's a pitch dark, we cannot see anything. Sun is shining, we can see everything. So this superior faculty, pratibha, becomes capable of understanding anything and everything. That's what this pratibha means. More and more clarity through this pratibha. So let's stop it here. And we'll start with verse number 35. Hriday chit samvitta. That is a Samyama on the heart. Knowing the power of the chitta. So we'll talk about that next week. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaye Purnameva Visheshyate Om Shanti 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 Om.